This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Ridley Report. State reps are gathering in New Hampshire to look at creating an exemption from the business enterprise tax. As written, the exemption would apply to new businesses.
All the ones that they're newbies.
How are you guys coming? Are you looking towards getting rid of the business enterprise tax for new businesses?
I haven't been to the committee meetings. I was just put on the subcommittee. So
Oh, because you're just now learning?
Yeah.
Why does there have to be a business enterprise tax?
It's what we need to run this state.
Get his cane, get his cane.
Get his cane. Thanks a lot.
You're Representative Jack Kelly from
Jack Kelly from
Nashville? Okay. Well, it's good to meet you. I'm Dave Ridley. Look forward to seeing what you guys.
I saw Ridley Report.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what you guys get.
We'll see what happens here.
All right. I appreciate it. Senator, could I speak with you about the status of the business enterprise tax bill?
This bill in here, sure.
Yes. What's the purpose behind the bill, precisely?
Well, the purpose was to get more businesses to get into New Hampshire and tell them you don't have to pay the enterprise tax for the first 3 years of your business, assuming that people would be interested in that and like to start new businesses. One of the difficulties with it is, how do you define a new business? If you're in business in New Hampshire and you shut down and you reopen under another name, is that a new business?
Right.
Constitutionally, it's a little difficult because it makes a different group of people taxed a different way, and you're not supposed to do that constitutionally. One of the objections I have to it, although I'm only an onlooker here, is the fact that if you're a manufacturer in New Hampshire, you have a business already, and there's 3 or 4 businesses making the same thing. Let's say you're making widgets, all right? All 3 businesses have been here for years making widgets. Somebody from another place says, you know, if I go to Massachusetts and make widgets, I don't get taxed, so I can sell my widgets for $1.50 less than they're selling them, which is kind of unfair competition. So that makes it kind of hard.
Was it the downturn, the economic downturn that spurred this bill, or do you know?
I don't know. I would assume so, because we want to get more business, especially small business in New Hampshire.
Actually, I think I've heard of you, Representative Ober. Am I saying that correctly?
It's Ober, yes.
Are there 2 Obers in
Yes, there are.
Okay, so maybe I haven't heard of you. I just heard of the other one.
You could have, because Lynn Ober is my wife, and she's on finance.
Okay,
So
okay,
you may
great.
well have talked to her about that.
Well, I've heard mostly good things.
Good.
Why not just get rid of the business enterprise tax? Do we really have to have that?
Yes, unfortunately we do, because it's the mainstay of the tax situation in the state of New Hampshire. That's where we get most of our taxation money, between the BET and the BPT. That pretty much fills up the coffers. It'd be nice if we get rid of it, but if we do, then somebody's going to say, well, then we need a sales tax or an income tax.
Well, they already say that.
Yeah.
Well, we need to get rid of some of the harmful things the state does. They're putting people in jail who haven't hurt anybody.
Well, this is in the marijuana bill that's also being heard this week or next week, I believe.
Do you have a position on that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in favor of legalizing it all. We'll tax the hell out of it and get a lot of money.
Well, I appreciate the first part. I don't know about the second part, but it would be an improvement.
If we ran it the same as we do alcohol, it would be, a state-run enterprise. I would rather see it private, but if the state were in control of the purity and the dosage and all that sort of thing like they are with liquor, yes, it's not good to tax it, but it's one of those taxes that people would buy into, just like the cigarette tax and all the rest of those taxes on sins, as they say.
All right, well, it's fun to run into someone I agree with every once in a while around here. So, okay, it's good to meet you, Representative Ober.
Okay.
I'm still not saying it correctly, but I'll go back and look at the tape.
Ober is good enough.
All right, thanks much.
By Representative Almy. Hopefully all of you have had a chance to read it, which I have, and found it. And I guess I'll turn to Representative Almy and see if she wants to comment, or whether she thinks she got all the information she wanted.
Yeah, I thought that was what I was fishing for, that in fact we cannot get the number of full-time and part-time workers in the firm at the state level at this point.
To sort through the approximately 40,000 quarterly reports to determine. It says there is no requirement that the employer distinguishes between full-time and part-time employee on the form. So we would have to.
Hey everyone, my name is Marie Balanson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Employment security. Yes.
Standing here with Representative Pete Hinkle, am I saying that correctly?
That's right.
Of Merrimack, Democrat, Republican?
Republican.
And you were the prime sponsor behind this bill to waive the business enterprise tax for new businesses in New Hampshire.
Right.
What's your response to that main concern that some people have, that this would be hard to define what a new business is?
Well, there are some safeguards built into the bill to help establish when a company is really new. There's about 3 or 4 different things they would have to do when they register with the Secretary of State and so forth. And people are still concerned that a company that's operating in New Hampshire now could change its name, maybe change its business organization, and then just continue operating, but get the benefit of this bill where they would be exempt from the business enterprise tax for the first 3 years. And I think there still are some ways that could overcome that problem if they'd be willing to consider it, but I don't get any feeling from this subcommittee that they want to go ahead with this.
So you're thinking that the whole bill is going to fail this time?
Yeah, I think so. They say there's also a constitutional problem in that as a result of this bill, not all businesses would be taxed equally, and that is a problem. I think the other alternative to this is to reduce the business enterprise tax or just eliminate it.
There we go.
Yeah. The problem with the tax is for a new company, say a startup company, a small R&D kind of company, if they come into the state and start operating, they've got to invest a lot of money in their business to start with. But then they have to start paying the business enterprise tax right away, whether they're making a profit or not. So that means the money has to come out of their capital investment. That decreases the amount of money that they have to invest in their startup business to get the thing going. So it's just not a good deal for companies to come to New Hampshire. And my intent behind this bill was try to attract new companies into New Hampshire, create new jobs, provide employment for more people, and that's what we need. So we've got to find some ways to do that. And I'm just still skeptical about whether we're going to do that because I hear, well, we have these problems with the budget, we have to solve that first. Well, one way to solve these budget problems is to stimulate more business so that you have more businesses paying the business profits tax. And in the long run, I think we would see an increase in revenue.
Well, the other thing I always try to focus on is what's the money being used for? It goes into the general fund, is that correct?
Yeah.
And that means it's used to hurt people, ultimately, putting people in jail who haven't harmed anybody. The jails have plenty of people like that in New Hampshire that are put there by the
Well, that's
state.
another issue, Dave. Let's stay on the tax issue and the job issue. And, that's what we, I think, really need to focus on if the state is going to come through this recession. And, we're in competition with every other state to try to attract business. And I don't think we're doing a very good job of it anymore.
Yeah, not as good as it used to be. All right, well, thanks, Representative Hinkle. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Do you have a message for the Ron Paul movement? Do you have a product for the New Hampshire Liberty community? Then stop keeping it a secret. Head on over to
RidleyReport.com. Email Ridley
and purchase an ad. There is no humiliation nor privation Ridley will not endure to ensure your message gets out.
RidleyReport.com.